Hi, it's time for another verb of the day. Today's verb is succeed. And before we take a look at the definitions or how we use this verb, I thought we might spend just a second talking about the pronunciation of this verb. I've had numerous students tell me that they find this to be a really difficult word to say. And I think that's because the two letter C's in this word are making two different sounds. So the first C is going to make more of a K sound, and the second C is going to make an S sound. So you're going to get used to hearing this verb a lot over the next few minutes, but we're going to pronounce it succeed. Succeed. Okay? Now let's move on and talk a little bit about how we use this verb. The first way you might see or hear the verb succeed used is to mean to achieve a goal or some desired result. So in many ways, this always feels like kind of a happy word, right? Maybe you've set a goal for yourself, learning a certain verb tense or learning a certain number of vocabulary words. And once you've reached that goal, right, you've succeeded. A second way you'll hear the verb succeed used is to mean to attain fame, wealth, or social status. So, this second definition sometimes can be quite subjective, right? As we look at other individuals, many times this tends to be celebrities, people with great fame, athletes, musicians, actors, etc., right? And sort of looking at what they have reached. That verb attain there is like reach. A third way you'll hear the verb succeed used is to mean to take over a throne, an inheritance, an office, or some other position from another person. So we're going to see some examples of this a little bit later, but sometimes as you hear that a company is naming a new CEO, they might say the new one is succeeding, right? The last one, right? They're taking over. A fourth way you might hear succeed used is to mean to come after and take the place of something. Sometimes I've seen this used in literature and used in connection to feelings, right? So maybe one character is experiencing some intense feeling, and another feeling succeeds it. It comes after and takes the place of, maybe because of something someone said or something someone did. You should know that the verb succeed is a regular verb. To make the progressive form of this verb, all you need to do is add ing to form succeeding. The past tense and participle forms of this verb can be made by adding ed. Our base verb succeed ends in a D sound. This means that I'm going to add an extra syllable and make an id sound when I say the past tense form. It should sound like this. Succeeded, succeeded. Okay. Now, there are a number of phrasal verbs that get used with this particular verb, so we're going to focus our discussion on these phrasal verbs. The first you might encounter is to succeed as. This can have a couple different meanings. One would be to accomplish something that is desired, intended, or required. An example of this might be she succeeded as mayor because she was constantly meeting with residents and looking for areas of compromise. Okay, so here we're suggesting someone really did a great job accomplishing maybe their many goals, what they plan to do as mayor. We're describing how that person did it. And if you're unfamiliar with that word mayor, we generally use that to describe the leader of a city, the elected leader of a city. Now, a second way you might hear succeed as used is to mean to replace someone or something in a particular position. An example of this. King Charles III succeeded his mother as the head of the House of Windsor. Now, I don't think I follow a lot of royal news out of the UK. I always find it funny when people in the US do, because we fought a pretty big war not to have to follow what those people were doing and suggesting, but nevertheless, it is in the news a great deal. So in the last few months, maybe you've read a story, seen a news piece. We're talking about again, that third definition of our verb just moments ago, someone taking place on the throne. Here we're talking about royalty, and that's what that would tie to. So taking the position. Another phrasal verb you might encounter is to succeed at. This can also have a couple different meanings. One would be to flourish or thrive in some task or endeavor. So again, flourish and thrive have really positive meanings. You're doing well, you're growing. So an example of this: you will succeed at learning English if you keep practicing, right? So you're going to flourish if you keep practicing. A second way to use succeed at is to mean to accomplish some desired, intended, or required task or action. An example of this might be, is the movie succeeding at the box office? So for large movie companies, right, the purpose of movies is to make money. So this question is really asking it, is it reaching that desired goal? Is it making a great deal of money? Are people paying to come see it? Now, I mentioned earlier that we're going to focus on just phrasal verbs today, and I have already forgotten to point out some of the verb tenses, since we won't be doing any individualized verb tense practice today. My first two examples, she succeeded as mayor and King Charles III succeeded his mother as, are both examples of the simple past tense. My third sentence, you will succeed at, would be an example of the simple future. I might be making a prediction here. Okay? And then the last example on the screen, is the movie succeeding, would be an example of the present progressive. So I might be talking about what's happening right now. Are a lot of people buying tickets to this movie? Now I have a couple more phrasal verbs for us to talk about. The next is to talk about succeed in. It can also have a couple different meanings. So the first is to accomplish or complete a goal, something you desire, something you intend or plan on doing. An example of this might be, the employees have succeeded in getting their boss to give everyone a cost of living adjustment. Right? So this means their wages or their salary is going to increase. The employees have succeeded in is an example of the present perfect. Okay? So we don't know maybe exactly when this happened. We just know that the action is completed. And I should point out, have succeeded in is many times going to be followed by a gerund. That's also really common with prepositions. A second way you hear succeed in used is to mean to just find success in a job, in a role, some other opportunity. An example of this: are you succeeding in your new job? Right? Are you finding success? Are you doing well? Okay. So now I think we're ready to move on and talk about some words that are related to our verb succeed. And you just heard me use another form of the word. It's the noun success. Success. And again, you'll notice the two letter C's continue to make the same sound. So the first C is making a K sound, the second C is making an S sound. And when I use the noun success, it can have a couple different meanings. One might be the accomplish of some aim, some goal, or it might be a person or thing that achieves some desired goal. An example of this might be, their new business has had great success in the first year. Okay? So maybe they're serving many customers, they're making great money, they're having many repeat customers. There might be many different ways to measure this accomplishment, or they might have several aims or goals. Now, a second way you hear success used is to refer to the attainment of fame, wealth, or some type of social status. An example of this might be, to whom or what does he owe his success? So sometimes you hear that type of question asked of a person who is famous, right? How did you attain this fame, right? What caused this? The next related word we're going to look at is the adjective successful. It can also have a couple different meanings. We could be talking or describing something that is accomplishing some aim, goal, or purpose. An example of that. We've had many successful results during the season. Right? So perhaps this is a coach, right? Many times the coach is going to be talking about wins, right? A second way you might hear successful used might be to describe something that has achieved popularity, profit, or some type of distinction. Maybe it's an award or something of that nature. An example of this, she's been a successful coach for over 20 seasons. So this could be a combination of all three of those things. That coach might be incredibly popular, might have a large contract, be making a lot of money, and perhaps has won many awards. Maybe her team has won certain championships. Right? All of those things are a possibility with that sentence. Now, one more related word for us today, it's the adverb successfully. This is generally used to describe an action that's being done in a way to accomplish some desired aim or desired goal or result. An example of this, you have successfully made it to the end of this video, right? If you're still watching, I hope. Thanks so much for watching today's video. I hope you have a great day.